And welcome everyone to the Circle of the Bay podcast, top 5 picks of the week. So we're back in action with the top 5. So host of Stevie Richards, I've been seeing here with my familia, my fellow horsemen are here, of course. Yes, we have Mr. 69 going to five, not $5.
Five time.
That is right. Five-time Mr. 69 champions. 5-time reasons why he's Mr. 69. That is Matt, 5-time Don Calles, Steamboat. And of course, the other 5-time, that's right. Yes, that's old school when we were kids.
2, 3, 4. I see that every day.
I know you see it every day because he's a teacher, ladies and gentlemen. He teaches everyone to let the people know why he is the undisputed, the undefeated, the unrivaled, the unmatched, and the uncensored Money Mike Lopez.
It's time to teach you how to be hardcore.
Right
now.
That is right, because with today's top 5, we're doing top 5 hardcore champions. Right there, hardcore champions. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and decide our hardcore champions that we loved. Of course, going back to the history of it, the hardcore champion was, I forgot what year was it exactly, but it was brought by Vince McMahon, who brought it to Mankind at the time and introduced them to the hardcore title, which is right behind me. You see it's some crash built, destroyed WWF Eagle World Champion and turned into a hardcore champion. And since then, they started implementing rules into it. It's defended 24/7. Anywhere, at any time, at any place can be defended. We had such great hardcore champions at the time before they diminished it when it was, I believe, when they started transitioning into the brand split and combining it with the Intercontinental title. I think the last one was, I believe, RVD, and do not remember who was the last person of that. I think it was RVD, right? And who did he fought for that?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, yes, you're right. There you go. That was the last one. But let's go to the Wheel of Names, see who goes first, giving their top 5 picks. Let me share my screen briefly here. All right. Spin that wheel. Of course, it's going to be the most valuable podcaster of all time. MVP. Money, Mike Lopez.
Big money.
No. Just for tonight, the most violent podcaster.
Yep.
There you
go.
There you go.
Top 5 hardcore champions. My goodness. Such entertaining matches, especially as a kid. You're watching these and they throw everything, including the kitchen sink at each other.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 2000, shout out to that pay-per-view. Great stuff from all these competitors. Starting at number 5, we've got The Undertaker. Who'd have thunk it when Vince McMahon handed over to the title to Mick Foley, that who'd have thunk it that The Undertaker was eventually going to win this thing? And, very, very cool. It was the beginning of his heel turn back in 2001 when he was demanding respect. And RVD wasn't giving him that respect. So there you go. He took that hardcore title away from him and had a, pretty fun run with that title. And that's, my number 5. Number 4, Raven. I always remember WrestleMania 17 when Raven got thrown through a window during the hardcore championship match. My goodness, that classic. You can't. I want that sort of thing again. I want the hardcore title back for moments like these. So Raven, great champion. And it almost seems he was tailor-made for this championship because, of course, he's an ECW alum, and very, very cool stuff there. Number 3, the first man to ever hold this, handed by Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself. He christened him the hardcore champion, for better or for worse, and that is Mankind. I remember that storyline he was, trying to keep him entertained. Here's something to play with. Here's the hardcore title, in which of course we know it's the Wind Eagle all broken up and this and that. But I wonder whose idea this was, because it was great that he went ahead and defended this thing. So very, very entertaining television, especially in the Attitude Era. Number 2, Mr. Monday Night RVD. Man, when he came over during the invasion, whew, it was almost a given for me to see this guy with the hardcore title. And man, I honestly feel that RVD really elevated it to the point where it was defended on pay-per-view in a more serious way, not just the 24/7 rule and all that. Classic matches against Jeff Hardy. He defended it, I believe, 2 pay-per-views in a row against him in Invasion and SummerSlam, and great stuff there. Classic matches. And then he was the last hardcore champion. Then it was retired after that. So RVD number 2. And number 1 for me, a sentimental favorite, Crash Holly. Crash Holly, my goodness. Yes. By the way, did you know that he weighed 400 pounds? Yes. That man was a heavyweight in the hardcore division. And yeah, I always remember in the amusement park, going down the slides, in the airport, at bars, defending the hardcore title against all comers. So, rest in peace, Mr. Crash Holly, because, in my humble opinion, the greatest hardcore champion of all time. 2 honorable mentions. I've mentioned him before, and that is Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, I feel like he did not get a substantial title reign as he probably could or maybe even should have. But honestly, like, he was one of those WWE guys that you want him to have this title, and he did. And for as brief as it was, he definitely wore it with pride, and it was cool to see him with it, And my second honorable mention is Kane. Who threw Raven over that window there? And that was Kane, being hardcore. So I definitely think that he had that power and that all that hardcore roughness to be a memorable hardcore champion. And to me, he was. So honorable mention number 2.
Awesome. I love it, man. You took it out of my mouth. So, I mean, shit. You're number 1 for sure. I mean, that's the truth, man. It's the truth, man. Good shit. That's good shit. All right, let's see. Let's go back to the wheel, see who is the last division to go. Let's see who's going to be best for last. Let's find that out. Here we go.
We have to remove.
I'll remove him. Oh, Mr. 69 himself. That's right. Matt Don Calles. Take it away.
So I guess I'm up now. I'm up to bat. I gotta get my Louisville Slugger. So hardcore champions, I only got 5 this week, but I chose them carefully and with love. Like I'm baking them with like a lot of extra time in my oven, brushing it with egg wash and butter, But so my number 5, it's Gold Dust.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
It's Gold. It's like Booker T, you need to leave. You want me to kiss you where? With Gold Dust. No, I think one of my first experiences with Goldust after his comeback at the Royal Rumble. I remember his comeback at the Royal Rumble around like the 0201 time period. He the first time I ever heard his voice was, it was I think it was probably my most memorable 24/7 moment with the hardcore title was when some guy the hardcore champion was being taken away on a stretcher. I forgot who it was. And then Goldust just pinned him like that. It's like, is he all right? Oh, I think he'll be okay. Punch, pin, that title. And that kind of stuck with me. That was my personal first introduction to Goldust. So that's my number 5. Number 4. Yeah, I'm too addicted to giving you curveballs, guys. Well, not too much, but who wants to catch this one? For audio listeners, that one was a bit dangerous. That curveball kind of.
Yes.
So, and speaking of getting hit in the head, this guy, I got a lot of love for this guy as a wrestler. Like when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate him. And that is Stevie Richards.
Oh my God, Stevie Richards.
I like him. I liked him as hardcore champion, and I like how he uses. I like that he's really fast. And you know what? With his long career, I don't know how his body is nowadays. I don't know anything about his history of injuries, but I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. I got a lot of love for him. He's actually, like, from the looks of him, he looks really healthy. I think he made a cameo on Brian Zane's YouTube channel, and I got a lot of love for Stevie Richards. So he was really fun. I mean, he was a great heel. I gotta say, he's definitely, one of the great workers of that company.
I agree.
Very underrated, very underloved. I love his super kick. I love his move set. Very underappreciated, in retrospect.
Okay.
Number 3. This is somebody we met. I got everything I ever wanted. I'll get that back. I know you hate X Factor. Okay, it's just incredible. My number,
All right.
3. He's special. I gotta say. Watching him on Sunday Night Heat, that was my time to watch right before it's like sometimes Simpsons was a rerun. So I'd either elect to watch Sunday Night Heat that night, or, sometimes I'd look for something to watch on Sunday nights, so because there was no Mad TV. I think I had a weird set of channels. I think there was a show Max X or the stunt. Yeah, Max X. And then they have all those clip shows and stuff like that. Anonymous people sent in these videos, and it was either right after or before Sunday Night Heat. So I'd kind of go back and forth between that. And I'm like, all right, Just Incredible's in a hardcore match. He's hitting them with the trash can. All right, now that match is over, let's watch Sunday Night Heat. Let's watch Max X or something like that. So number 2, it's another special person, special ECW person. Got a lot of love for him. The Man in the Box. Dun, 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 dun. Tommy Dreamer. I love his. I kind of would imagine like WWE finally putting in the money to buy his song. I mean, his WWE song's all right. Like, I think I had that as well, but his I kind of wish they would get Man in the Box eventually, because I just imagine that would be like the perfect song for him to like have his big push with. And I would just daydream about that while, being on my way to school, like half awake in the morning, like Tommy Dreamer is as undisputed champion. It would be cool. But
undisputed champion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
wow.
That's what I daydreamed about when I was
pinning Brock Lesnar clean.
No. Of course not clean. I knew how wrestling was. A lot of people won by cheating. So So I was kind of used to, like brass knuckles and trash can lids and chairs being involved, so not clean, but that's what I was daydreaming about as a middle school kid. And then him coming to the ring with Man in the Box and a big ovation from the crowd. So, I liked him as hardcore champion. He was always a very representative, wearing the shirts and bringing the shopping cart full of weapons when Raven wasn't there. It was him with the shopping cart, I think, sometimes. Okay. And my number one.
Of course. Rob Van Dam.
MGC.
Mr. Monday Night. I gotta say, I mean, Monday is a work day for me, but hopefully soon it might not be. So I get to be the king of the night. Scott Steiner's nickname is like, I'm the king of the night, baby. I'm a big fan of Bourgeois and Snapper Clam. I'm like, says Scott Steiner. But I gotta say, Rob Van Dam, I think a match that I went back and watched recently was Rob Van Dam versus the Undertaker for the hardcore title, and I thought that was really cool. It was such a cool difference of styles, but it just shows how great both of them are as performers and workers. Just they could both be chameleons. It's kind of like how Kenny Omega could kind of like nowadays could kind of chameleon himself to fit someone else's style in the ring. Like, okay, I could have your kind of match. I could work with you. I could work with anybody and make it look good. And I would say that's kind of the thing with both Rob Van Dam and Undertaker. They have a very great work ethic and a love and care of their opponent wrestler's style and craft. So like all the love to him. I mean, Rob Van Dam, great at the hardcore with the spinning roundhouse kick with the chair, the Van Daminator, Oh yeah. So he's my number one.
No honorable mentions?
No, sadly not, because that's why I put more love and care to this top 5. I baked it in the oven with, the egg wash and the butter.
Wow.
I love it. That's right. All right. Here we go. My top 5 is here we go. Frank, love you. Jump in the ring. Number 5, of course, Mankind. Remember, that was November 2nd, 1998, when an episode of Raw is when Vince McMahon gave him that belt. Here it is. You're now a hardcore champion. You're a champion now. So yeah, like how Mike said, like he's something to distract him as he was, busy with Austin, I believe at that time. I think that was with the feud with Austin. But yes, I got to give it to Mankind. He took it, that belt, and he ran with it. So I'm happy for him, Number 4. This is gonna be a curveball right here for everyone right here. Number 4.
Ooh. Oh, who do you want to throw it to?
Oh, go for it, Matt.
I got my glove. Oh, my eye. Oh.
My number 4 will be the Big Boss Man. Why? And I will say why. Because the greatest feud that he had as a hardcore champion was with Al Snow, when it involved Pepper. Everybody remember that storyline. Oh my God, it was so sadistic and bad, and making him eat, quote unquote, Pepper's corpse, that it was a food. And how that feud. Big Boss Man was not a bad hardcore champ either, even when he was with the corporation. He was not, a bad champion. I actually enjoyed Big Boss Man being a hardcore champion. So especially with that feud with Al Snow, I enjoyed it.
Oh. Pepper, I can still taste him.
Oh no, Peter, no, we're not with that. Okay, so you better not come at us. Okay,
no animals were actually harmed.
No, yes, no animals were actually harmed.
That was just a chicken fillet or something.
Probably some chicken nugget. That's probably what it was. You never know. My number 3 would be Steve Blackman. I actually enjoyed him as so exactly first hardcore champion with with all the martial arts equipment, with the nunchucks and then with the candlestick. I think this is a good question. Was he the first person to introduce the candlestick in WWF? I'm not saying Just Incredible did it in ECW, but I'm talking about in WWF. Was he the first person? That's where I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if he was. This is a good question. I got to research for sure on that. And anybody knows that answer, comment right below the video. Who was the first person to introduce the candlestick to the WWF at the time? Because I am really curious to see who actually brought that up. But I did enjoy Steve Blackman's run as a hardcore champion and using all the weapons, even with the trash can lids as a like, oh man, you got to give it to Blackman, man. He did a great job as much as possible, and he took the hits. But he took a lot of hits in the head with that, with the stop sign or the everything. Great hardcore champion for Steve Blackman. My number 2, of course, is RVD. Of course, I haven't. Mike and Matt said it themselves. There's nothing much I can add to it, but yes, absolutely, he did elevated that hardcore title again, and not making it more of a joke. It was more of a serious title. Like, oh shit, I need to go for this title. So I was looking forward for that, seeing that. And like you mentioned, Matt, about him and Taker, Judgment Day. That was actually a great match. So hell yeah, I actually enjoyed it. So I got to give it to RVD being a great hardcore champion. And of course, number 1, of course, everybody, of course, it's got to be Crash Holly. Yes, Mike said it himself very well. He was the pinnacle of the hardcore title. I think he was your first R-Truth 24/7 type of style. Going to different places, getting a massage, and then next, getting pinned. Oh my God. And then going to the playground as well, going through this, the slide how Mike said. Going to the bars, getting beaten by women, by legends, by thugs. As in like the, Briscoe and Patterson, Tori and Jacqueline to the APA. It's like, oh man, it was so much, but it was so fun. Even for my own cousin, Hardcore Holly, how he hated him, despised him, that he was getting more love than Hardcore Holly. So it was great to see that. I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 1. 2 honorable mentions I would mention, and one of them would be, speaking of Holly, Hardcore Holly. I actually liked him as a hardcore champion. He wasn't bad. He was another tough hardcore champion, and he took it serious, being the hardcore, champion, because he's like, I'm hardcore. That's why they call me hardcore. I deserve that belt. He had great feuds with his cousin, great feuds with, Bossman, Al Snow as well. So great feuds, for Hardcore Holly. And the other mentioning is Spike Dudley. I actually enjoyed Spike Dudley as a hardcore champion. He was a fighting hardcore champion, so I had to give it a Spike on that for sure. I just wish he would have had more, more time with it. But he did the best what he can with it. And yeah, that is my top 5. I got to give it to you, Mike. You really knocked it out the park here with your picks and explaining, with everyone individually. So I got to give it to you, brother. Hell yeah.
I most violent podcaster right here. Of course.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why they should get rid of the 24/7 and make it a hardcore title again. Bring back the hardcore. Bring back that ruthless aggression that we need. That's what we need. You want to get that brass ring with a hardcore brass ring. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Here on our top 5 Crystal Week's Hardcore Champions. I hope everyone's enjoying your Sunday, or either morning, or afternoon, or nighttime when you're watching this. And stay tuned for the next following week, and we'll do our top 5 underrated feuds. Which was an underrated feuds that was never spoken upon of, and why is always spoken, because we all overthought about the main top ones, Awesome Rock, Holding Rock, Taker Kane, but what about the other ones that were never, that brought up phenomenal matches, and it was run underrated. So stay tuned for that for next Sunday. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in here And to all our audio platform listeners, the host Steve from IBC. And of course, I have Mr. 69 because it's 69 reasons and 69 answers with that 69 hat. Mr.
Runaway train never come back again. Runaway train never come back. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that commercial in my head. Nine hits.
And of course, we're gonna have a dance off soon because we want to get a dance off. Go look at Money Mike's YouTube channel as he was the fiend walking around all over Little Tokyo, it's scaring people and doing a dance off. So
Fiend for the fans and fodder for the press. Fiend for the.
Like, why isn't Cold Chamber giving him that? I think that's a missed opportunity. Cold Chamber.
There you go.
Good call on that.
Rotunda watches us, so I think that he could get inspired with it.
Fiend for the fans and fodder.
Like, everybody's gonna rock out to that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
AEW, my God.
Hell yeah, that would be so epic if he does. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the most violent podcaster here. That is the unrivaled, the unmatched, the undefeated, undisputed, uncensored Money Mike Lopez. As we all here wishing everybody a wonderful Sunday. And of course, I'm gonna let Money Mike say to end and close it out here. What do we do here at Circle Debate?
We don't just make podcasts, baby. We make history. Oh, yeah.
Choose.